to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about some of my childhood movies that still warm my heart to this day. I know this is a random topic, but I kind of wanted to bring light into these childhood movies that marked me. Let's just bask in the nostalgia some for a little bit, okay? Maybe you recognize some of your childhood favorites. Maybe you'll be reminded that that movie existed. Also, this is perfect timing because the day that I'm posting this video is my birthday. Your girl is 25. I cannot believe myself. So what better way to celebrate than bringing my inner child out? I mean, it is an excuse to talk about my childhood movies. It is also an excuse to reminisce on good times. I've realized pretty quickly that my list of childhood movies could go on and on as long as I remember that I've seen that as a kid, that is in the back of my head. So I have to make an exception and give some honorable mentions before pointing out the childhood movies. I was born in 1999, so technically I am a 2000s kid, and I've grown up with the Barbie movies. And my favorite of those Barbie movies is Barbie and the 12 Dancing Princesses. The other one is Lilo and Stitch. I was a kid that grew up with Lilo and Stitch, the Emperor's New Groove. Speaking of Emperor's New Groove, I used to watch it, Kronk's New Groove, a lot. And you know, Kronk's my favorite character out of that movie. And that's why probably I remember more the DVD sequel than the actual movie fondly. I'm bringing two Pixar movies here in my honorable mentions, that is Monsters Inc. and Toy Story 2. They are GOAT Pixar movies for a reason. I also can't forget to mention the first two Madagascar movies. I kinda like those movies even though they are a little random. I'm also one of the kids that was affected by The Adventures of Shark Boy and Lava Girl, which I can't say that has become a cult classic because I guess that's stretching a little bit. But yeah, a lot of kids who are in their 20s nowadays probably grew up on that movie, and it's hard not to look back and be like, whoa, I enjoyed that so much, but it's also so stupid today. The Powerpuff Girls movies, don't even get me started. And to finish off these honorable mentions, I'll mention Penelope, which is like a modern fairy tale. It's about a girl that her family is cursed and she's born with the nose of a pig. No one knows that movie. For some reason, I did watch it as a kid and it stayed with me in the back of my mind. Now let's get into the actual list, starting with James and the Giant Peach. I rewatched this movie a couple of years ago and I realized how crazy the plot actually is about a kid who is raised by two mean ants, receives some magical worms, one of them gets into a peach, then he goes into the peach. Some insect friends also get affected by this magic worm, and then they go on an adventure to New York because he wanted to go there with his parents. I didn't even remember that this movie had songs in it, but I think that what marks is the characters in just this peach adventure overall. If someone asks, what's a movie that you most remember for childhood? It will be for me James and the Giant Peach. Even though this movie was released before I was born, I don't know why. It is one that I used to watch constantly. I was so afraid of the centipede. Don't get me started on that character, that design, or that boat scene with the skeletons. But Mrs. Spider, still an icon to this day. Go ahead and revisit James and the Giant Peach. It is a crazy, crazy story. I guess a little bit of magic in an ordinary world never felt so sweet and juicy. Okay, I had to rewatch this one because I, for the life of me, could not remember the plot of those movies. But one that I really remember as being something that I used to watch as a kid a lot was Stuart Little, for some reason. Not the first one, the second one. The first one, I'm sorry, it's just a little boring, his origin story. But then the second one, when he's already adapting to the family and all, so fun. Do you remember that George, the kid, didn't want him as his brother? But like, dude, he's a sentient rat. I really don't get how he ended up an adoption and how they treat it as if it's normal that he's a sentient, right? But taking all that aside, all that logic aside, just the story about like a chosen family, it's just charming. It's something that those 2000s movies had. They're just really charming. I wanted to understand why people hate Stuart Little. I've seen the first movie has a lot of weird comments on Letterboxd. Like, I don't get it. Is he so annoying to people? For me, he's just okay. Has any of you ever heard of a movie called Little Manhattan? It's basically the story about this boy having his first love in New York, realizing that like he likes this girl and how weird all of that is. And to me, it definitely was the first depiction of love that I remember really well seeing on screen. If you ever had a little crush as a kid, you will relate to the movie a lot, and you'll be like, yep, maybe not so successful, but some of the feelings definitely are there. And when the movie ends, I was like, oh, don't worry kid, we still act like it sometimes when we are in love, even as adults. Okay, this movie, School of Rock. Let's go to the next one, moving on. No, but seriously, School of Rock, that was the movie for me. That was like my everything. I had such a crush on the piano kid. My introduction to Jack Black, and he's amazing in that movie. Like, just the idea of you having such a cool teacher. It probably was the dream, like watching that movie and thinking that you would eventually find a teacher like that. Fortunately, I had a really cool teacher, but it was a geography teacher. Taking that aside, what he learns while being with these kids and becoming a teacher himself, it's just an amazing journey. Him putting together the band and then that final performance. I feel so blessed that School of Rock is part of my childhood. In the same spirit of School of Rock, I feel so blessed that 13 going on 30 is part of my childhood. That movie is the definition of like you being a kid and wanting to be older. She just went through time like this, so she has no idea of how adulthood can come to you and not be as fun. I love Jennifer Garner in this movie. She is perfect in the role. I love Mark Ruffalo. Him during those years, I must say, was a heartthrob. Him in this movie and that other one with Reese Witherspoon. Is there a more iconic movie about experiencing adulthood as a kid? It makes the movie so fun, and then learning to adapt, like, because she doesn't know that she might or not go back in time again. She learns to adapt in the place that she is while not missing her child self. 30 and flirty and thriving. Me knowing that like in 5 years I'll be 30 is a little scary though. I wanna be with that mindset. I just love it, It's definitely one of my favorite rom-coms. Another rom-com that marked me was Music and Lyrics. I love the music in that movie. I love Drew Barrymore, I love Hugh Grant. It's definitely underrated. Next movie that I'm going to mention is Aquamarine. I mean, talk about a wish come true. Having a mermaid as a friend. It looks so fun. And that scene of she making, I don't know, 3 different versions of her dress, iconic to this day. The plot can be a little weak, but it's just so relatable to like 12 to 13-year-old girls. Basically the story about a mermaid trying to find love. Definitely has that nostalgia feel to it. It makes me feel like I'm there 13 years old again. Those were the things that matter in that age, like the friendships, the crush that you had, the worries that we have now as adults, just weren't near when you were 13. Now we are talking about Mamma Mia. That is definitely the musical that marked my childhood. I know there is a jukebox musical. I only came to know about real musicals when I watched Glee, but anyways, I'm getting off topic. Mamma Mia. Mamma Mia is a comfort movie for many people, and it has a reason. It's so cheerful, so bright. The story is crazy. This girl, she has 3 possible dads. She's going to get married. She invites them, and her mother is like, what the hell are you doing now? I have to face my past. Well, she also is kind of like, I have 3 dads, or will I find out who is my actual dad, really? Meryl Streep, she just brings the energy that the character of Donna needs. The 3 guys are so funny. Colin Firth, the cover of Our Last Summer is my favorite to this day.
I can still recall our last summer. I still see it all.
This will be a classic. It is already one. This next one I remember so fondly. It is the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. Just that idea of like you sending these jeans who can fit all your friends during vacation and each one telling your story of what's happening in their lives. It was just so cool. Just the idea of doing that was so cool, and you would think that you could actually do that, but I don't know if there is a jean that can fit everyone just like that. Movies about friendship, they're just so important at that age, right? You just think that it's possible to have a group of friends and that you guys are so different, but you guys connect so well together in some way. I definitely was the character of the girl from Gilmore Girls because she's an artist, like she likes to paint, and I love to paint as a kid. I still draw from time to time. Yeah, she was the more shy of the group. So do you guys know a movie called Nanny McPhee? It's basically about this nanny who comes take care of a bunch of non-behaved kids. And she's kind of a magic nanny, she just comes when it's needed. And I have a really weird coincidence that like Nanny McPhee, The Nanny Diaries, Mrs. Doubtfire, those three movies are really attached to my brain as childhood memories, which is weird because I wasn't raised by a nanny or had nannies really. But what makes Nanny McPhee stand out? First of all, Colin Firth. I'm sorry, but yeah, Colin Firth, he's just such a sweet dad in this movie. He's just trying to make it the best for his kids. Emma Thompson as Nanny McPhee. I love it. I love it. I love how she has a whole transformation during the movie. This one's definitely the more magical of the nanny movies that I've watched, because Mrs. Doubtfire is a family drama and The Nanny Diaries is more about being a nanny in your 20s because you don't know what to do with your life yet, but also being affected by their experience. So yeah, tell me in the comments, nanny movies, is any of them special to you? I think Mary Poppins is also one that a lot of people remember, haven't watched when they were kids. I recently rewatched this because I had to remember, but I always had a really fun attachment to Meet the Robsons. The story is about this kid who is an orphan and he's also an inventor, and he basically just cares for that until the day of the science fair. He will present his invention, it doesn't work, and then this kid appears from the future saying that he's going to save him from a dude with a hat. He's not buying it, so he says, "Prove it to me that you're from the future." And then he takes him to the future, and then this whole journey begins. It is very delightful, very quirky, because the characters are just so out of the ordinary, so like eccentric. But I guess that's the fun of it, and just the message, keep moving forward, that don't keep looking in the past. Things are gonna get better. I could not pass on this list without mentioning my favorite Disney princess, and might be a little controversial pick, but I remember loving Sleeping Beauty a lot, even though I did rewatch, and like the movie is not actually about her, about Aurora. It's more about the three good fairies and Maleficent and the beef that they have between them. Aurora just gets caught up in the middle because she's the princess, basically. But I don't know, I love the whole thing of the dressing changing colors from blue to pink. I love that they go live in this little cottage house. People who love cottagecore will probably look at that and be, yes, she knows what she's doing there, but definitely would not want to be born in the 14th century. Once Upon a Dream is a lovely, lovely song. I didn't realize until now that there is a weird age gap between her and the prince. From the Disney princess movies, that's the one that I watched the most, and that's the one that I remember the most, and that's why I say that Aurora is my favorite Disney princess, even though she's barely in her movie. But I love her with little development and all. And to finish it off, I had to mention the Tiger movie. I swear to God, Winnie the Pooh became such an underrated thing. I hate what they're doing with those slasher movies. just a little mention there. But no, Winnie the Pooh was so special to me. It was such a really cozy thing to watch, and I loved all the characters, Tiger being my favorite, and Piglet. This whole story of the Tiger movie being that he just wants a family. Are you kidding me? It's so heartbreaking. And then going with the message of a chosen family, I love it, I really do. It kind of makes me feel sad that like kids nowadays don't seem to have those types of stories, don't seem to have characters that are just magical like that. And yeah, this is my list of childhood movies. I hope that you enjoy watching me ramble about them. I hope that you found one here that you're like, oh, I'm gonna rewatch it to see how I feel like now as an adult. Feel free to leave a comment down below of what is your childhood movie. What is the movie that marked you as a child? And thank you so much for watching. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye!